keeping it all sorts of wonderful, vibrant shades of green. So today's segment with certified financial planner and president of the Shakiba Group, Trevor Shakiba, is going to be a little different than we've normally done in the past here on Houston Life.
Yeah, that's right, because today Trevor will answer some common financial questions, including some from our Houston Life viewers. So Trevor, welcome back to the show.
Yeah, thank you. Good to be here.
All right, so a lot of people, let's just jump right in. A lot of people wonder, if you have an extra bit of cash, what do you do? Do you put it in savings? Do you pay down debt? Do you invest it? What's the answer?
Well, I think it depends, of course, but usually you want to do all three, unless there's dire circumstances. And what I mean by that is that if you have zero cash reserve and a lot of debt, you really need to focus on that first before you start saving for retirement or education planning. Because remember, and I've said it on here before, if you don't have any reserves and something goes wrong, which always happens, you go right back into debt.
So start building that cash reserve first, then tackle debt and investing.
Yeah.
And we just saw that question on our screen from Ethan. So Trevor, I mean, when it comes to a cash reserve, though, there is no number that you're going for. Everybody's different, right? It's essentially your living expenses for how many months?
Well,
6 months, 9 months?
General rule of thumb is 3 to 6 months of expenses, right? And that's something you really want to target eventually. I don't like to always just say that you have to have that, because if you don't have a reserve right now and you live on $8,000 a month, that might be a little bit of a stretch to try and get 24 or 25,000 immediately. So target something achievable, maybe 2,000, then build it to 5, and then at the same time you can still pay down debt and maybe start saving something for retirement as well.
So it's really making that budget, your home budget, kind of analyzing it. Where can you cut some costs? Do you really need that coffee 5 days a week? Where you can start those little spots where you can save the extra money.
Absolutely.
Okay, so let's move on to our second question, which is the market is at an all-time high. Should I get out of the market?
This is a no. It's actually a resounding no, and I get it a lot, but remember, timing the market is never a coherent strategy. You're not going to be able to jump in or jump out. And think about this. If you go back to 1980, on average, we've had a 15% pullback every year.
That's unbelievable.
But if you look at what the market opened at January of 1980, the Dow was at about 100. And it's now at 21,500. The market goes up more than it goes down. Stay focused on your long-term financial goals.
Well, and also on the flip side of this, Trevor, you've said before right here on Houston Life that some people, when the market drops, they panic, they jump out.
Yeah.
Also, like, one of the worst things you can do.
Well,
right?
and if you think about it, you're doing the exact wrong thing at the exact wrong time.
You're selling at the lowest price.
Exactly. If market is down, you actually have an opportunity to buy or invest in some phenomenal companies on sale. And that's how you should really look at it.
So patience, my friend.
Sale opportunity is always good. So our third question, how much do I need to be saving to be able to retire? That's Mary's question.
Great question.
You know what? I love this question, because my question back to Mary would be, well, what are your financial goals? So
what age do you want to retire?
Exactly. To really have a financial goal, you need a time frame and an amount. So being wealthy at retirement is not really a goal. You need to quantify. By 60 with $8,000 a month net of taxes, that's what I need for financial independence. Then you can back into it through financial planning and determine how much you need to save, what type of rate of return. That is the key.
Well, also, for a lot of seniors, because life expectancies are increasing.
So much longer.
We often hear seniors saying, I didn't realize I was going to live this long. I didn't realize I needed more money.
Yeah. Well, within our financial planning software, I like to use a life expectancy of 95. And when I say that to clients, they usually laugh at me. But statistically now, you wouldn't believe how long folks are living. It's critical to factor that.
Well, and home health care, guys, can be like $17,000 a month to have somebody come into your home every day.
Unbelievable.
Okay, so let's move on to the next question. My 401k doesn't have a match. Should I still contribute?
I think the answer here is usually yes. And the reason I would say that is because I'm such a big proponent of getting that savings started and automated. It's so difficult for us in this society to live below our means. So when you can trick yourself to get that money away from you before you spend it, that's a really good thing.
Kind of out of sight, out of mind.
Yes.
Leave it alone.
Now, if your 401k has 5 choices and they're not very good and the expenses are really high, maybe not. And then you need to look outside of there, which I think we might be talking about. But overall, I like folks to contribute even if there's not a match.
Does it matter what age you are? I mean, say someone who's 35 versus 55?
You know, to some extent, I think it does. If you're just right around the corner from retirement and your 401k is not very good and there's no match, the funds might be better elsewhere to really get you set up for retirement.
Would that be like into like a Roth IRA or something like that?
Roth IRA, you could even, hey, I'm going to pay down debt, pay my house off before I officially retire. But if you're young, you got to get going.
All right, next question. When planning for maternity leave, is it better to pay down debt or save up? That question is from Emily.
So I have 2 points here. I think if you have a debt that you can pay off and that's going to free up some cash flow, that would be a really good thing to do. But normally, you really want to be liquid. And so I can speak to this because we have a 2-year-old, and I had no idea the amount of things that were going to come up and the amount of birthday parties we were going to have to go to and diapers. And so
doctor's visits.
And so have liquidity and savings. But if there's a debt you can pay off that frees up $300-400 a month, that'd be a really good thing too.
Oh, yeah.
Man, that
Such
sounds
a good
like
feeling
a deal.
to pay down some debt.
Okay, so let's go to our next question. When paying off debt, how much should one keep in their emergency fund or savings?
Yeah, I think that goes back to what we were saying before, 3 to 6 months of expenses, but find a number that works for you that's achievable. Debt, yes, we all want to get out of it, but if you don't have any reserves and life happens, you'll go right back into it. It may even be worse. So target 3 months. If you don't have that or it's not achievable, then 1,000, 2,000, maybe 5,000 and build from there.
Well, and sometimes I think just putting things down on paper, I mean, do you recommend if someone is trying to formulate this idea of how much to save, just putting a pen to paper and saying, okay, how much is my monthly living expense? What do I spend on food?
Yes.
Budgeting?
I believe in that 100% as a financial planner. That's one of the big things, right? Get it in a plan, develop a plan, write it down. You're much more apt to achieve it if you write it down and you have someone that's holding you accountable.
Real quick, is there a money amount that's too much to have in savings, that if you hit that point, you should be putting the rest of it investing?
I think so. Again, that differs from person to person. You don't want to have hundreds of thousands of dollars in cash because then you're not making any money on that money. Effectively, you're losing money. But again, it depends on from client to client. Target that 3 to 6 months, and from there, let's have a good conversation.
All right, Trevor. Thank you so much for stopping by. Great seeing you. Say hi to your wife, Christina, for us. For more info or to start investing with Trevor and the Shakiba Group, visit their website, theshakibagroup.com.
And coming up next, a look into Houston's Shakespeare Festival at the University.